You can sit cross-legged, catch the fronts of your knees with your hands. And at this point in the day, I know for me here on the West Coast, it's getting a little gray and dark. My mood feels a little low. So we're just going to get a little bit of motion in the spine. So closing the eyes, inhaling, leaning forward, and then exhale, rounding back. And just jumping right into a little movement before we settle into a tall seat. So as you inhale forward, exhale back, you can do this with a slow rhythm if that's what's really in you, or you can speed it up subtly like a Bhastrika breathing, in through the nose, out through the nose, but powerfully out. So you're getting right to the very bottom of your exhale. Equally balancing your inhale to your exhale. You might feel little clicks and clacks in the spine, letting that begin to release those little stagnation points of maybe sitting not as tall or a little rounded, and bringing some awareness back into the rib cage. Do about 3 more. And sit nice and tall. Switch up the cross of your legs. Take your left hand to your right knee, right hand behind you, and not forcing this twist, but inviting a tall seat and looking over the shoulder, eyes closed. It's like at this point of the day, just rinsing a little in the spine. And then unwind back to center, right hand to left knee, left hand behind. Sit tall as you breathe in, over the shoulders, you breathe out. When the spine is supple, the mind can also flex and bend many ways. We'll take a moment to unwind, sitting tall at center, hands to your heart, setting an intention or dedication, which will keep you coming back to the integrity of your practice of being here fully. As many distractions might happen outside of the space you're in, you continuously come back to your focused awareness and listening really acutely to how the body is giving you feedback. And sometimes if there's a pain point, we back off right away. But when we come into sensation, let there be a deeper breath to see what's there to maybe release or create space. Bow your head to your heart, honoring the unknowns, the lessons that come, the things we know we don't know, and building some resilience, some comfort within the unknowns, what's yet to come. Some of our greatest moments we didn't see coming. As you bring your hands back to your heart, open your eyes, release the hands, and let's come into an extended puppy dog position. And that means the knees are slightly behind your hips, hands underneath the shoulders. Now you can have elevated hands, or as you slide back, lift the palms so you're on fingertips. I reach a little further forward. Keep the hips quite high, toes tucked under, and reach your spine as long as you can. So tail back, head comes heavy. If it touches the floor, let it. The fingertips can press down. You can keep your palms down, elbows lifted, or create a little more space coming onto fingertips or placing a block under each palm, or maybe a bolster if you've got one. About 3-4 breaths here. Feeling the front of the chest. The undersides, insides of the arms extending. Navel towards spine. A subtle hugging in of your inner thighs. Now gradually placing the palms to neutral, keep the elbows lifted, come forward and come all the way down onto your belly. So you'll come right down between your thumbs, point your toes straight back. Take a simple cobra here, a little arc of the spine. Again, flexing the spine one way and then releasing all the way down as you exhale. Inhale, shoulders roll back, legs long, knees lifted. Exhale, forward and down. One more time. As you come down, you're going to come around with the hands to stack and rest the forehead. We're going to activate the back body a little bit here, bending the right knee. Keep your left toes anchored, knees lifted, and lift your right knee off the floor. Take a breath to relax the shoulders back from the ears, and then 10 little pulses of your foot towards the sky, knee lifted. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the lift. Pull the heel towards the back of your head. Take a full breath in. Think navel to spine as you breathe out, knee a little higher. And then release your femur, release your toes all the way down. Press into those toenails to lift the knee. Bend your left knee. Pick up the knee off the floor. From that hold, you're going to pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7. Really try to reach for the ceiling. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold at its highest. Pull the heel further towards the back of your head. Big breath in. Shoulders slide back. Release the leg, the femur, the toes down. Slide your hands back under your shoulders. Roll the elbows down the back, shoulder blades come back, come into that cobra again and stay in this lift. Some of the hardest areas to hold or move our breath, I should say, is when we're holding this lift in your heart. Keep the toenails down, especially your pinky toenails here. Feeling the lower body stabilize, almost like you're hugging a ball or a block between your upper thighs. Hover the hands, and then take the hands around behind you like airplane wings. So you can stay right here, or catch the opposite hand and squeeze your hands into a fist, stretching and lengthening the crown of the head forward and the chin slightly in. For 3, lengthen. Giving the body a nice squeeze, our back body especially. And then as you release your heart, release your hands underneath, knees down, press up and back. Puppy dog, long. Deep breath in. Full breath out. Lift up into downward facing dog. Pedal out the knees, the feet if you need. Let the head go. Nod yes, shake no. Take your right leg to the sky, straight back. So keep the hips squared. If you look down the front of your body far enough, you'll see your right toes in flexion towards your nose. You can bend the left knee quite a lot if you feel there's a lot of tension in the ankle. That'll help release and lift the right leg higher. Now point your right toes. Full extension of that right leg. Bring your knee to your nose and your shoulders over your wrists. Place your right foot between your hands. Lower your back knee and take your arms to the sky. Find the breath. Let there be some rise and fall to your body. So you're like water, that element of water. Hands are going to interlace. Take the elbows wide and behind the head, behind the head, you'll catch your hands behind your head. Push your head into your hands and then pull up slightly with your hands. You might come out of your lunge a little. Pull the elbows in like you're trying to squeeze a block between your elbows and let your shoulders slide onto your back. Let's breathe here for 5. It's a bit of a back bend, but our focus here is really on the front of the left hip. Letting the elbows point towards the ceiling. If you feel the lower back get pinchy, press into your right heel to come out of the lunge slightly. You'll actually increase the left hip stretch. Return to your intention and notice if it's communicating, if you're listening to the body and its feedback and adjusting to create space rather than just force. We want to actually engage the force and bring, it sounds like a Jedi move, engage the force and then extend out of your waist. One more breath. You'll release the head, bring the hands to the floor and step back, downward dog. Sink into both heels, soften through the knees, lengthen through your low belly. Take your left leg straight up. Flex through the heel. Look down the front of your body so you see your left toes. Soften your right knee, sink into your right heel, and lift your left leg a little higher. Then point your toes. A little extension through the front of the leg. Bring your knee to your nose, shoulders over wrists, and place your left foot between your hands, right knee down. Reach up. Exhale to settle into the lunge. Take the hands to interlace the opposite way you just did. So if naturally you go the same way, just flip the hands. So left might be on top now. And then you're drawing the elbows wide, leaning back. Pull up on the back of the skull. You can even use your thumbs along the edges of the neck here, the occipital ridge, which is just that ridge on the base of the skull. And then as the elbows wrap, your shoulders come down from your ears. And find our 5 breath in a way that's inviting. And though it may be challenging, use the breath as an access to move in or out as your body is giving you that feedback. Push into your heel. Point the elbows up. A little bit of pressure of head to hands will relax the front of the throat. Steady gaze. Last breath. You'll release the hands, hips come back, hands come down, lift the knees, step back, downward dog. Long breath in, heels high, knees bend. Exhale, sink your heels, start to straighten the legs. Now if the legs straighten and the spine rounds, soften the knees, lift the tail. Let's step the feet to the top of the mat. Hip distance to fists, lift halfway. Fold it through. Then press to rise, go all the way up. And hands to heart center. As you shift onto your left foot, pick up your right heel behind you. Now you can reach down and catch the heel for a moment or the outer edge of the foot. We'll catch the outer edge on this side. Bring your knees to touch. Your left hand can just rest on your sternum, the top of the chest where the collarbones greet. And our body's really good at escaping tight places. I want you to focus on bringing your knees together, drawing the chin slightly down. If you're wobbling, it's a good thing. Let the inner ear do the work. And then straighten your left leg more and more right before it locks paws. And pull your heel behind you towards you. If it's a far reach, you're welcome to use a strap. I want you to think about pulling the heel closer, but keeping the knees close. The shoulders squeeze back. Now we're going to keep the foot behind, but we're going to release the hand. Take the arms up, extend through the leg, hinge forward, bend your front knee, and land into warrior one. So as your toes come down, let them turn to 45, and the arms come up. So in an effort to open this front side of our body, that quadricep, this hip flexor, we're going to take a few angles to get in there. And with the arms up, we'll bend them out to the sides again, hinge forward this time, and interlace the hands like we did on the floor. Squeeze the elbows back, chin slightly in, draw the shoulders together, hands down your tail, and lift your heart up. For 5. Building that resilience, the resistance to jump out of your skin. There's moments where things get really challenging in life and in our yogic practice. And this on the mat is just time to practice. You might come out a little, but then invite yourself back in. Come back into your feet, ground through the earth, pull the hands away from the tail and down, bit of a back bend. And as you hinge forward, release the hands to airplane wings. Scoop the arms forward to your warrior one arms and come back up to center. Hands to heart. As you shift some weight forward, pick up your back heel, come all the way up, knee in front, catch the knee with your right hand, and open the knee to the right side. Left arm can go up and it can go out to the left. I'm gonna run short on space. Find your space, find that opening. Now the knee is held by the hand. Can you release it and float the arm out to the side? Bring the knee forward, the arms up, and then place the feet back to neutral, hands to heart. Good. Right hand to the chest, shift onto your right leg, pick up the left knee, take it back behind, catch the outer foot. Now sometimes to catch the foot, we twist or contort. We're going to bring it back to center, hug in, knee to knee, thigh to thigh. Standing leg can start in a bend, that'll help you find your balance, and then work it straighter, but if it locks, unlock it. Steady gaze. Wobbles and shakes just mean the inner ear, your vestibular system is working. Bend your left elbow, pull the heel up behind you. Challenge yourself to stay and breathe, a consistent rhythm. Keep the foot behind you. Release the arms. We'll take them up. Stretch the leg back. Make it long first. Hinge. Reach the arms behind you to airplane wings. Bend your right knee. Land to warrior one. Reach up. Elbows come wide as your body hinges 45 forward. Hands interlace at your tail. Opposite hand on top. Keep working lefts and rights of the brain. And as you pull the tail down, shoulders back, chest up. Stay for 5. Like a deep rinse for certain aspects of the body, maybe your calf muscle, your psoas, your hips, your chest, your hands, or your mind. Keeping that length, that strength. As you hinge forward, subtly over, you'll release the arms, take them back up to warrior one. Hinge forward just enough to pick up the back heel. Come all the way up, knee in front. Catch the knee with your left hand, squeeze it up, open the arm, open the leg. Good. As you're holding that knee, flex the toes or floint them, open them, take your left arm out too. Bring it back to center, feet flat, hands to heart. Release the arms. Let's flow once through. Inhale up, hips back, forward fold out. Halfway lift. Step to plank. Lower all the breath out. Empty, empty, empty. Cobra or up dog if you'd rather. And then back to downward facing dog. There's a little bit of water in the joints and the knees, the ankles, also in your neck. Let that head be heavy. Step or walk to the top of your mat. Big toes touch this time, heels apart, lift halfway. Hold it through. And press to rise, come all the way up. And hands to heart center. Now, if you've got a strap, we'll use the strap for this next piece. When you catch the strap, open it up fully. And we'll set up like a little shoe foot, I call it. So you'll bring the strap behind your heel. So you have two long ends. Bring them together so they're smooth. And then place that through your toes like you've just created a little slipper for your foot. Now, if your strap's not too long or not long enough, you can always make a loop at one end. You go through both and then between the two hooks, and you'll be able to slide. And in that case, you'll lasso your ankle if you have a longer tail, and you'll still put that fold between your toes and then bring it up behind. It's like you've created, I know it's not the most comfortable shoe you've ever worn. So you'll pull it up behind you, and like you've put a bag over your shoulder. If the strap is long enough, you might be able to bring the hand in front. Now, if ever you get into trouble here, when you start to lose your balance, just let your strap go. It's not worth trying to twist and contort your way back. So just come back to center. Once you're here, knees are coming towards each other. Your left hand is going to come around behind, and your right hand also reaches back, sort of like having our hands behind our head earlier. You can walk up and down your strap as much as you find the space. Elbows wide to start, and then wrap them forward so your shoulders come down from your ears. Now, this is as much a quad stretch as it is a bit of a back bend chest opener. Heart opener. Take your eyes up. The hands stay at least behind the head, if not lower behind the neck. We don't want the hands up in the air. So we want to have a bend at the elbows, fist on fist or hands interlaced if that feels good. And then push your foot into your strap, and you'll feel a little tug of war in your hands. The hands might pull away. That's a lot in the spine. Pull them back. Breathe here for 3. For 2. Foot to strap, press. And then slowly release this side. Good. You'll lasso the other side or wrap the strap around the back of the heel. So we'll go to the left side. Slide that really comfortable strap between your big toe and your second toe. I know it's not going to be that long, so it doesn't have to be super comfortable. It's like wearing most uncomfortable shoes just for an evening out. You do it because you can. It's a short-term situation. So as you bring your knees together, right knee is soft but straight. Right hand comes around. You're going to climb your strap, pulling the foot a little higher perhaps, and then bring the knees towards each other. Elbows wrap forward. Notice the tendency as the elbows collapse. You might feel this a lot in your lower back. Pull the low belly in like you're zipping a tight pair of pants. And as you press your foot into your strap, you might pull on the hands pull on the foot, and you find balance through tension. If only one side is pulling, it'll make it kind of wobbly, really hard. So be consistent with the pressure. For 3 more breaths. Eyes up, elbows forward. You can walk the strap if you're creating some space. Good. On your last one, we'll come all the way down and undo the strap. And we're going to switch it up and do a version with no strap. You'll take the right hand again to catch the outside of your foot, but you'll walk your fingers around your toes until the hand comes palm in, thumb onto your big toe. So we don't want to have a twisted arm. We start on the outside, climb around. When you climb around, you might rotate. So then pull your ribs forward. As you pull the ribs forward, bring your knees together, hand onto the sternum center. And this variation has a little bit of rotation in the spine, but it's not full rotation. So keep bringing your right shoulder forward, a softness in your elbow if you can manage there, and push your foot to your hand and your heart into your left palm. We'll stay for 5. Finding the flexibility to move in and out as your body and breath are communicating. 2. Kick up, kick up, kick up. And then come all the way back to center and release the foot. Good, other side. Onto the right foot. Catch the outside of the left foot. Rotate your hand around the toes to catch the inner arch. Right hand, center of the chest. It's like your heart is trying to burst up and out, and your palm is here to catch it. Squeeze the knees. Kick back. It's a great place to play with the unknown. And we might have a vision of what this looks like. But there is almost a limitation we put on what it looks like. So if you kick more and more and more, see what actually happens. Maybe you fall out, you fall back in. Set your gaze. 3 more breaths. And deepening the expression. And then coming all the way up to tall. And release the foot, release the hands. Good, feet together. Stretch up on your in-breath. Forward fold on your out-breath. Lift halfway. And step back to downward dog. Let's float forward to the top of a push-up, breath in. And then all the way down to the belly, breath out. Point the toes, lift the heart, cobra. Forward and down, exhale. Staying on your belly, stack your hands again, forehead rests on the backs of your stacked hands. Shoulders relax away from ears. Just take a whole moment here to let the body rest. Resting on our front side, this is often front-sided Shavasana. Letting the whole system recalibrate. Busy days, busy minds need time to come back to your breath. Starting to get into the inner line of our hip. We'll take the right hand out to the side. Turn open slightly. So you bring your right knee out to a half frog position. out onto the right edge of your mat. Put a cushion under that knee if you're on hard floor. Make sure you have a mat. You might shimmy a little to the left. And then bring your hands back to stack, forehead back to rest. There's a widening here, like you're trying to push your knee away from you to the right and working your pelvis more and more flat and flush to the floor. And we'll do a couple active releases here. As you roll the top of your femur towards the floor, your right foot lifts up. And then releases back down. Shoulders relax. Internally rotate your right leg. Cover the right foot. It doesn't have to come really high. You go to your degree. Then back down. Do one more. And at the bottom, fully release any tension that was used to lift the leg. Letting that front body recalibrate. Bring that right hand around to the side to help roll onto your left slightly and slide your right leg straight back behind you. Restack the hands, press the forehead, shimmy the hips if you need. And then to the other side, left hand comes out, roll onto the right side just subtly so the left knee comes up to about hip height, and then slide it away from you, working your pelvis lower. Half frog. Hands come back to stack. Rest your forehead, relax the shoulders. Internally rotate your left leg. Pick up the left foot. And then slow release back down. So our lowering is as important as the lifting. Inhale to internal rotate. Exhale to work the releasing muscles back down. One more. At the bottom, relax all the muscles that lifted the leg. It might take a moment even to recognize where you might be holding. And slide the left hand out to the side to help slide the left leg straight back. Stack the hands, rest the forehead, give the hips a little shimmy. And then press up and back into a closed knee child's pose. You can let the forehead rest. Even bring your hands up behind you and rest them on your tail. Let your shoulders, the heads of the arm bones drop like you've created yourself into a little rock. And bring the forearms back down onto the floor. Press up just enough to come onto your hands and knees. Stretch your left leg straight back and slide your right knee between your hands. This is one way to get into Gomukhasana. And if this doesn't serve your knees, I'll show you another way in a moment. But walk the hands forward, open your right foot to the left edge of your mat, and then slide your left knee tight up behind your right, left foot open. You can sit on a block or a blanket here as you slide back. Be mindful of your knees. Now, if going in that way is not good on your knees, you'll just come into a seated position, take your right leg over, and optional left foot under. So however you've gotten in, sitting tall here, we'll take the fingertips slightly back behind. I want you to lean back so you feel the spine stack, vertebra to vertebra, that natural curve. Take a tall breath in. And then leaning like the tower, you know, the famous leaning tower. We lean the heart forward and really feel the outer hips as we anchor back into the tail, the sits bones. Eyes can be open or closed here. You can keep the fingertips behind if that helps to tilt. Otherwise, bring the fingertips in front or by your sides onto palms. That releasing quality of your breath is also engaging your core. When we tighten in the core, the exhalation, we have more space to move into. It's important to focus on the exhalation, which also brings our nervous system into that state of sympath or parasympathetic, so we're rest and digest ready for our evening. And from this subtle angle forward, walk your hands over towards the left side, placing hands on either side of your right foot and leaning in this direction. You'll feel that outer right lower back hip region. Feel what you feel. When we release our hips, we connect to the shoulders, the head and the neck. Try to keep everything stacked. That leaning tower is just shifted off to one side. If you can reach down to the block on forearms, or maybe coming onto your forearms on either side of the foot in time, you'll keep going in that direction. Then press back up to center. Hands stack on top of your knee in front, eyes closed. Full breath in. Sighing breath out. You have the option to lean back and stretch the legs in front, or the option to come up and over the way you went in and stretch your legs back behind you. Now, either way, you're resuming your starting point. So if on this side you're on hands and knees, right leg back, left knee comes forward, toe heel the foot open. Walk your hands forward to bring knee to knee snug, open the heels, and then sitting back between. Now it's common here if we tend to feel one sitting bone lift, we'll work on the anchoring of bringing it down. But this sometimes is a bit tight. I know for me it can be. You can let your top leg slide out, relax the pose a little, fingertips by your sides, stacking the vertebra, tall breath in, leaning your heart towards your knees. Option to bring fingertips around in front. There's no need to force. We feel the waves of breath as they come and go. There is a great unknown at times in our hip opening that where is the shift? How much longer till I can lean fully over, reach all the way to one side? It's good to have visions and goals, but it's another to be patient till they come your way. As you walk your hands over to the right, frame your left foot. That's one thing I've learned in the physical practice of asana and yoga is patience and releasing the need to achieve and allowing it to unfold in front of you, that you are moving in a direction and you have the aspirations to get deeper into certain positions. And with your practice and your consistency, you will get there. It's almost like in the moment that we're ready to give up, something releases inside us, that we no longer have that grip of achievement, and all of a sudden things come accessible, more accessible. Start to come back through center, stack your hands on your knee, pause in the middle. Big breath in and a sighing breath out. Lean the hands back behind you. Unwrap the legs, straight out in front, feet flat, hip distance. If you have a block, you're welcome to use it here about mid-distance between the upper thighs. And if you don't have a block, there's an imaginary space of hugging in as you roll back. And as you roll back, you'll take your hands by your sides, reach down, just brush your heels with your fingertips. Hug into that imaginary block or the block between your thighs and lift your hips straight up to the sky. Maybe tuck one shoulder and then the other. Hands can interlace underneath you. And that's squeezing like you would squeeze a sponge, every last drop of water from it. There's something to be said about restricting and then releasing and letting the blood flow, let the body come back down. As you touch the tail down, take a breath, sigh it away. Round two, set the feet, touch the heels, hug in, lift the hips. You can stay here, interlace the hands. If you are playing with wheel, the hands can come by your ears, fingertips towards your shoulders. And you might just keep your hands here for this one. Think of pushing into your hands, into your feet, feeling what's shifting, what's changing. And then release, come all the way down. And on your third set, you can go back up to bridge or go all the way up into wheel. I'll walk through wheel. As you press down into the feet, lift your hips. Hands by your ears. Take the hands a little wider. So they might be half on, half off the mat. But your elbows point to the sky. As you tuck your shoulder blades back, press into your hands to the crown of your head. You walk your hands in and then press hands and feet, lifting up with equal pressure for 3. Let your head go for 2. Tuck the chin, back of the shoulders, back of the head, ripple down from your bridge or wheel. Take your feet together, knees wide, left hand on your heart, right hand on your belly. You might feel that electrical pulse through your torso. It's like taking an outlet and plugging in your lamp. And when you see the light come on, there is that engagement. Like we're flexing into that stagnation and reigniting the fire, the electricity. Bringing the knees back together, feet together, knees together. You can walk your feet closer to you, arms wide, cactus or straight out, and bring both knees over to your right, knee on knee. Simple twist, rinse. Press right knee into left, back to center, take a breath. Knee on knee, stretching over to the left side. Back of the ribs, relaxing into the floor, into the mat. Bring the knees back through center. Lots of bending and flexing for the spine. Let's bring the knees into the chest. Give them a squeeze. Open the knees and reach through the knees to your ankles or your big toes or your outer pinky toe edges for happy baby. And if the tail is lifted off the floor, think about pressing your tail down and relaxing your shoulders back. Head heavy, jaw relaxed. Wonderful way to just reset your spine back to neutral. More open than when you started, more free to move in many directions. Bring the knees together. Bring your feet to the floor. Option, feet wide, knees together, palms open. Option, stretch the legs long. Final rest, taking a few moments here. Big breath in, sighing breath out. And we'll just use this time to stay quiet. And if there is distraction where you are, whether noise or just mind distractions, thoughts, bring your intention back to the forefront. To keep your breath consistent, to listen to the subtle messages of your physical body, to drop the tension where you notice it, to fill that space with awareness, connection, joy, freedom, happiness, whatever it is you'd like to create more of. Possibility, it's a great word. When we're challenged, rather than seeing the block, see the possibility. It's like driving down the road and the road is closed and we take a detour, a different route. And in our detour, we find something we never knew was there. Let this part of your practice be about getting empty. When we're empty, only then can we create something new in its place. Only then can we see what's possible. As always, feel free to stay as long as feels good here. Pardon me. Reach your arms overhead if it's calling you to stretch from toes to fingers. To bend the knees and roll onto your right side. And gradually returning when you're ready, if you're ready, to sit tall. And let your hands come to your heart center. Bow your head to your hands. Namaste.